Let me also recognize all our own that are in your entourage. I may not begin to call all their names one by one, but they are here, especially those who made 7th Assembly what 7th Assembly is. 7th. I'm very 7th. 7th. I said 7th. Look at him. Distinguished senators, serving and former, my bosses in the House of Representatives, gentlemen of the press, good evening. Your Excellency, we welcome you to your house. We also welcome you to your caucus because you are part of us. You set the pace when you came on board, and you tried to revolutionize the independence of the parliament when you became the Senate president. And the record is there to speak for itself. He's here with us, my colleagues, and of course, being here with us, it must be for a reason. Because they said when you see a child dancing outside, either he has a very strong father behind him or he has a very bad charm. And usually, you don't see frog in the afternoon. Eh? You don't. Or even rabbit. You see them at a particular time. But when you see them, you know something is going on. So, His Excellency has come here to see us. And I will not want to put anything into his mouth. He's here. He will address us. And after which, we will take it from there. So I will call on His Excellency to address his people.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader Ndulunlu. Honorable members of the House of Representatives of the PDP family, members of my entourage, distinguished senators, honorable members. As you rightly said, I'm here, I believe, at home, with one part of a family, as a family of parliamentarians. And I should feel highly welcome in having this opportunity. Let me thank those of you that, because I always know what it's like during the week, particularly at this time, to take time to come and listen to me. I appreciate. I will not take you for granted. And I thank you for taking that time to be here. Before I start, let me recognize and commend a number of you who are here, who together were in the trenches in the 8th National Assembly. And some of the credit I get today where I go around, I could not have done it without the support of a lot of you. And for those of us who are watching now, and looking at the Parliament, let me also commend the 9th House of Representatives. It's only when I hear you that we believe that, yes, that spirit is still there. But I can assure you that by the time we finish and we work together, the 10th National Assembly will definitely be one that you, all of you, hopefully when you come back, you'll be proud of. I have spoken to a number of the members individually, in passing, of my thoughts, my vision, what I think of where our country is, and why I really believe that this country can be much better. But I felt that it's only proper that I should formally, out of the great respect I have for you honorable members, that it's not good enough just for you to either hear it informally or assumptions or hearsay, but to come before you and share my aspiration, my desire, and also inform you formally that it is my intention to contest the president of this great country come 2023. And in doing that, seek your support, not only your support, more importantly, your cooperation. These 2023 election is the most important election that will be for our generation. And those of you who are honored to be here, you are well informed than most. You all know where we are as a country today. And I will not be exaggerating when I say as a country, if we do not do something right, we are inching very close towards being a state that has a lot of challenges. You battle it every day when you're in chambers, the issue of insecurity, lack of jobs for our people, and the cost of living that we're already seeing today. And you know better. We're at a time where we must look at what it needs and the kind of person that is required to take us out of this mess. We don't have the luxury of wishing that anything or anybody can. You all know that today, with the level of debt profile that we have, and over 90, probably 85% revenue to debt profile, government alone cannot take us out of this mess. The only way we can get out of the mess we're in from an economic point of view is having an environment that brings in investment, because government is only 13% of GDP. No matter how much budget you do and you continue to pass those budgets, that money is not there, as you all know. So the question you ask yourself, truly, how do we get out of this mess? We can only get out of this mess if we have leadership that is visionary, that understands the issues. You cannot give what you don't have. Honorable members of the House of Representatives, you are enlightened. You have seen the experience. And you are the victim of the misunderstanding of what the work of legislative arm of government is. And as such, you will continue to be the victim until we have a leadership that knows what is required for this country to get out of this. Secondly, and more importantly, as you all know, there are many plans all scattered around this country. There are many ideas. Who has the energy and the drive to be able to take us out of implementing those issues? The governments come, they make presentations to you. They tell you this is what is going on. And the person leading it is far apart from the reality on the ground. It is not a job you can delegate. It's not a job that can part-time. You must be able to roll up your sleeve and follow through on those decisions. You know that better than I do. For as long as we have leadership that does not understand where he wants to take the country to, or a leadership that is hoping that his advisors will be the one that will run government, we will be back to where we are today. And thirdly, and more importantly also, we need a leadership that is bold and courageous, because the decisions we have to take in the next few years will define this country. A lot of people talk about restructuring. You know and I know from my experience in legislative arm of government, without the National Assembly, there's little restructuring you can do in this country. That is reality. Leave all the noise outside the chambers. It is in that chamber that we will change this country. And if you do not have the experience and the political capital to push through the agenda that is necessary to change this country, you cannot change this country. You must have that experience. You must have the respect, the trust of members of the National Assembly. And that is why, if you keep on looking at constitutional review does not have executive buy-in from day one. It's also just an exercise that goes around and comes back. We spend many hours in the 8th National Assembly. At the end of the day, why would, after 2/3 of the country has gone through a document, it's still subject to the president to say yes or no? But if you have a president and a National Assembly that are working together, you can make significant impact in this country. You know that, I know that. And that is why Tonight is important to me more because the future of this country, and I'm not trying to flatter you, depends on how those of you who are here choose between your comfort zone or what is good for this country. If you choose your comfort zone, Nigeria will not change. But if you go along the pathway that let us find that leadership together, because by based on people who have been tested, those of you who were in the 8th National Assembly know what we went through. People like us had choices. I had the choice to be a good boy, stay quiet, stay in a ruling party, take the benefits of the ruling party. But with the support of a lot of you, we chose to stand for Nigeria. And we paid a lot of price for standing for Nigeria. Some of you risked your lives on the day of the invasion by the SSS and stood and said, no, this institution will stand. And that's why you're all here today. Because if they hadn't at that time, there would not be a strong National Assembly today. I believe that I have that character that is required to drive this country forward. From the point of view of members of the National Assembly, it is time that you have one of yours leading this country. Not for just your personal interest, because it is important for us to have a president that understands how to work with the National Assembly. Not to be battling every day, executive, legislative, debating whether a budget is a proposal or a padding. It's an insult to the institution. These are issues that are so critical in moving this country forward. You cannot move this country forward based on executive orders. No investor will look on the long term. And that is why, as of today, we are not seeing investment. We will not see investment. Because they look at the climate is not conducive. And money finds where they safe. You can only have prosperity, long-term growth, on investment in John Law. That is the truth. That's why I believe that as someone that understands the issues, it will be my belief, if I am elected government, to work with bills that will ensure a thriving economic environment. Because that is what you need for investment. Today, the country is so disunited. That is the reality. I know a lot of other aspirants will talk to you or might have spoken to you, talking about how they can unite this country. I am sure a lot of them are very capable. We are lucky in our party that we're very capable people. But sometimes the affairs of men, the affairs of nations, when a time comes for a particular person to play a role, I believe today, not by my choice, but not by my making, but by my product of where I come from, a true reflection of a Nigerian, I can be that bridge between the northern part of this country and the southern part of this country. I believe also I can reach across the religious divide of Muslims and Christians. I also believe I can reach about the divide of the older and the younger. And reach across the most important divide between the private sector and the public sector based on my background. You need all these four qualities to unite this country. And this is not by just my past, but also by where I come from and how I have lived my life. And for somebody who has been a victim of injustice and persecution for what he believes in, I will always defend and fight against injustice. I'm not fighting it because I would like to, because as being a victim, I've pledged that nobody will go through that. Because all we are doing is how do we make this country better. My desire is not based on my personal ambition. My desire is because of that burning need to make this country better. And I believe with you, because we have worked together. As I said in my opening line, we have been in the trenches together. You all know, as your experience, what it takes to survive as a presiding officer for 4 years where government is trying to impeach you. And you spend most of that time in court. You know how long it takes. Very short to impeach a presiding officer. Even if we are speaking now, you know if you want, you can impeach. Changes can happen right quickly right now. I'm not trying to... The only reason why I was able to survive was because the 108 other senators felt that that seat was not just mine. It belonged to all of us. And that shows that I am a man that shares power. Today, we need a president that will truly believes in the we, not the I. And that is why a product of our caucus will do that. We can make this country better. Distinguished members of the Honorable House of Representatives. Together we can make this country work better for the younger generation. I need you to support me to get the nomination of my party, to win the election, and to work together to make the government work. Because a president that does not have the support of the National Assembly cannot turn around and rebuild this country. That is fact. And you can only know that from experience. Because the changes that we need to bring to this country today require the National Assembly. Whether it is constitutional review, whether there are issues to do with fiscal federalism, all these issues, security issues, or whether we're having community, we're having state police, these are issues that must come to the National Assembly. To allow the National Assembly to drive it was not done. You look in developed democracies, the president leads with the National Assembly on these major issues. So there must be synergy. Under my kind of presidency, there will be respect for this institution. This institution has suffered great disrespect. And that is because the executive enjoys in bringing that level of disrespect to the National Assembly. That will not be if with your effort. We will work together and make this country better. My appeal to you, distinguished members of the House of Representatives, I want you to look at what is good for Nigeria. Some of you might still want to go with the old ways. Let me vote for the person for my place. Let me vote for the person we speak the same language. Let me vote for the person where we go and worship at it. My appeal to you that where we need now is who is that Nigerian for Nigerians that will unite us, that has the capacity to provide solutions, real solutions that will take us out of this mess that we're in, that understands the issue. I have no doubt that when you look at all the aspirants who are capable, you will find that it is luckily is one of your own. One of your own. Because I cannot see anybody who you say is one of your own than somebody who you've been to battle with and come back. And we're all here for today. I've come here to seek your support, to let us work and turn this country around. Let us stop the kind of thing we're seeing now. How can we have a country where the monopoly of, should I say, no, I will not use the word violence, but the monopoly and ability of the issue of security is not in the hands of the state. In the Niger Delta, we are producing oil, but there are people who are stealing this oil and government is just watching. I have challenged the country. Today we have people suffering on the issue of fuel. Meanwhile, you are hearing that we are consuming 70 million liters a day. You know, I know, it is not possible. And government is watching. That's not the country we want. And today the reality is this. We must go back to the days of PDP under President Obasanjo, when Nigeria was respected around the world, where the president of Nigeria walks into it and stands and people say, yes, that is the president of Nigeria, I'm proud to have. The reality is that we don't have that now. The role we used to play to stabilize the continent. I gave an example the last time when I was at Obasanjo's birthday. That I remember when there was a coup in Cape Verde, and the president was kicked out, and he ran to Obasanjo and said, what are you doing here? He said, there's been a coup. And Obasanjo said, so, and you have come here? Come on. Puff, get the plane. Obasanjo took the post-president back to Cape Verde and installed him back as the president. Those days when Nigeria played that kind of role, we have lost it. And the stability of this zone will continue to be in danger until this country stands up. We all know what is happening in the area of insecurity. Because we're not here as a closed session, I don't want to expand that. But you know, I know, that with right kind of political leadership, it is not something that we cannot sort out. So, honorable members, I seek your support together, because we have done it before. Nobody gave us a chance in the 8th National Assembly that we'll be able to do what we did. Till today, the number of bills we passed in the 8th National Assembly is more than 5, 6, 7 National Assembly put together. That shows that we were working despite this. Those that work with me know that I am someone that work, and I'm ready to do that again for this country, to make this country better. I thank you for giving this great opportunity. Thank you.
My colleagues, you have heard that the reason why he's here is because he wants to rule this nation. And also he wants your mandate. He wants you to give him the mandate to go there in 2023 general election and carry the flag of PDP to rescue and rebuild the nation. Your Excellency, my colleagues are happy with you being part of us. They welcome your interest in showing up, which means at least National Assembly will now fully be known as a body to be reckoned with, that will have assets, those who have gone through the tutelage of lawmaking, that they have what it takes to rule this nation. They understand every constituency. They've been there. You've had opportunity to go around to all the senatorial districts during your time as Senate President, either attending one function or the other. And given that, we have no doubt that you have all it takes to rule this nation. But our worry is that APC has given us the opportunity. It is there, open, very glaring, that they have no capacity to continue in government. They have failed this nation. It's a corrupt government where in a government, a judgment will be given for the sake of an individual. And so demand that the executive should now do the job of the legislatures. It has never happened before. But if we see all these things where borrowing has become the order of the day, where lies of we have built this specialist hospital, we have provided healthcare services and all whatnot has become the order of the day, where they said they are fighting insurgency, but it's being used to siphon money every day, where all the state governments agree to release $1 billion for the procurement of arms, And up to today, I am not sure that those arms have been procured. Where a government led by a party can set out to elect 36 state chairmen plus FCT and end up electing 92 party chairmen. And they are in court. It shows that they are highly incompetent to even think of taking Nigeria to the next promised land. Is it the educational system where a minister of education can walk out our children for just coming to him to say, please, talk to us not to go on strike, and he walks out on them? It's only in APC government that can happen. So there are opportunities that APC has given PDP and the Nigerian people to take a decision. But our worry is, how are we united as a party? How are we keeping our cool by not talking anyhow on ourselves? That is our worry. We have the opportunity. So I want to beg that maybe all of you that are showing interest to lead us to the next promised land should have a way of talking to yourselves, so that I deliberately switched off the TV. Because what is happening now is a subject of politics 7 p.m. today, where some of our leaders are talking to each other and responding to each other in a manner that is very, very palatable, very unpalatable. So I pray that we will imbibe unity. I pray that we will try and restrain ourselves from talking down on ourselves, because it's only when we are united that we can assess that opportunity that is before us of taking over this country. It is only when we are focused, and what is that we should be focused about is how to let Nigerians know that in PDP there's an alternative. The alternative to take them out of this hopelessness that they have found themselves. Wives are divorcing their husbands because maybe the husbands can no longer fend for the home because of lack of good economy that we are faced with. Children no longer respect their seniors because they have found out that even in APC, they don't respect themselves. So, but like I said, all these things can only be overcome, and we'll be able to rescue and rebuild Nigeria if we can, by our actions, show that we'll have a better alternative to what Nigerians are yearning for. Yes, no doubt. If you want to score APC, I will tell you that they have 32%. I will say they have 32% because 32% that they ended up completing the project that PDP started. So that 32% is being able to complete the railway. We started it. Airports, we started it. So the one that they are completing without showing anything new that they have done is what I'm assessing them for 32%. And that is the truth. Today they talk about fighting corruption. Who set up EFCC? PDP. Who set up ICPC? PDP. The single account that they are talking about, TSA, PDP. Just name it. BVN, PDP. And what is so appalling, Your Excellency, Niger Bridge, that is under Sovereign Wealth Fund, they are now claiming that they are the ones doing it. Haba. It's not by appropriation now. So why should such lies be carried on and on as part of what they have achieved? It is not true. the money has been saved. In fact, they have depleted our foreign reserve. But like I said, we have the biggest opportunity before us to take over. But what we need is to advise ourselves and go out there. Let people converse on issues. Let people converse on issues on a mutual respect basis. And I believe at the end of the day, we'll be better off. So, they've asked me to tell you that you are one of us. And that when the time comes, like you beckon on me, that there's something you would like me to do. So, that we will show you when that time comes. We will show you when that time comes. And for members who may come from different states, but when the time comes, we'll know how to talk to ourselves. And we'll go and do the needful when we are voting. We may not be together on that day, but in our various states, we will give signal that this is where we're going. It doesn't matter whether it goes the way we want it or not, but once we agree that we're moving on that direction, not one vote will miss. True of us. So, having said that, let me ask you to take a bow and... So, having said that, let me call the Deputy Minority Leader to give vote of thanks.